Over here.
Last year, Mike, when we were talking about the wolf population and the quota, the 186 that was quoted then was reportedly a 13% decrease in the statewide population. Well, if it was a 13%, 186 is a 13% decrease of state population. How can 220 be a 40% reduction of state population?
It's a 40% harvest. It's not a 40% reduction. But you guys.
I misunderstood that.
Yeah, me too.
Me too.
So you see what I mean now?
No.
No.
Okay. So the wolf population at the end of last year was at, they said 550. Then pups were born. So the population increased to some number, a model number. And so then, if you take 40% of that higher number, you're going to take the pup, a number equal to the pups, plus, that's what this is saying, plus the percentage that allows the total population to decrease by what? The one model said 7%, I think the other model was, what was it, in the teens or something like that? It was a decrease. So does that make sense? Between these 2 points, the 2010 end of year and the 2011 end of year, right? I mean, this biology, so.
The math, I'm talking about math now, not biology, math.
Yeah.
So am I. So watch me, because I'm graphic. So there's an increase, right, because of pups.
Yes.
Now, if you harvest 40% of this,
Yes.
brings you down this year.
To where?
40% of the
Something
increase.
about 7%.
So
lower
you're saying,
than
in other words, you're still managing for a 60% increase in wolves.
I can't track that math.
Well, I mean, if we're only going to take a 40% of the increase.
Does anybody understand me? That can
No,
help?
the math doesn't work out.
You're
That's
taking,
what I'm hearing.
You're taking
No, wait,
40%
what
of the increase, correct? 40% of the increase?
No. No.
That's what we
Do we
understand.
have a whiteboard?
Right there.
Chalkboard? We're kind of old
Chalk
school
right
here
behind
in Val County.
We've got an eraser if you make a mistake.
Go Grant.
Okay. This is the end of year in 2010, okay? And I'm not going to put a number on it because then I really will have to do math, right?
Got a calculator.
Okay? This is a straight line across for 2011. So if this number was the same as this number, that'd be a 0% decline, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's happening with the wolves in between is that pups are born. So if we reduce this number by 40%, here's the bottom. We reduce this number by 40%, comes down to here, which is, this whole thing is 40%. This
The
thing,
math still doesn't add up, Mike.
If you take, if you start at 0,
That's creative.
and you take an increase in there, presumably the increase is 100%, right? And whatever that number would be 100%. You reduce 100% by 40.
no,
No.
you're reducing this by 40. See?
40% of the total number of wolves.
See, somebody's got it.
Not the pups.
Right.
We're not talking about pups. We're talking about overall number.
Yep, 40% of this guy.
Okay.
See, because this is a number, and that's a number. This is on the ground now. We'll take 40% of that, ends up over here.
That's really slow for me. So
No, I appreciate this. You took me
So
to-
in other words, once we have our normal reproduction rate, after we bring it down just a little below the line you just drew there, then we're going to be way above that number again.
at this
We're
time
gonna,
next
see,
year.
we're managing for more wolves instead of fewer wolves.
Well, you can say that if you want to, but here's the
Well,
math. Here's the math. So next year in 2011, we start out here. We were here. This will happen like this. We'll end up down here if we take 20%, and it goes like this. So it's
What
an
if
incremental
we have
decline.
couple of those years where we have like a 35% reproduction? It
We'll
happens.
have more.
Actual number,
Yeah.
Mike, can you fill in some actual numbers?
No,
You know, can you
because
say
it'll be too hard.
550 here, and we think we're gonna have this many pups, and so we're gonna be here. I think that way people can see it.
Do you guys, I
Okay.
think most importantly, do you guys track it?
What you're saying is you're hoping for a 7% reduction through the first year's hunt.
Right.
That's a simple answer,
Thank you.
basically. I mean, your point's well taken, it's gonna go up and down. But from a government standpoint, you have to start somewhere.
Well-
If their attempt, and I
Well,
I
again-
understand what their attempt is to, in the first kill period, to reduce gross population by 7%. So, okay, let's go, if there are any more questions of our guests, and then we'll go to public comment. Tim, go ahead.
Yeah, Jim Pearson. Thanks for coming. Good job. My concern includes that I got a call about 10 days ago from a guy in Boulder, Colorado, who's an environmentalist who he's the president of the group. He'll remain anonymous, but he did apologize to all of us because what he realized, and I'm curious if you would agree with his discovery, the information that he was provided many years ago when we were all deciding to bring the wolves here was inconsistent with what really happened, and he explained it this way. We believe that the alpha female will reproduce, and so he said there's probably about 7 wolves in a pack. So you've got 6 non-productive wolves. But what he explained to me was that in a condition where there is an abundance of animals to eat, as there has been up to this point, that the other females in the group will, instead of assisting the alpha, will also become impregnated and have babies. So my math tells me that that means that the amount of growth rate is, oh, I don't know, what is it? 400% more than we thought. So when you start looking at all these numbers, and then you look at what your point was with these animals coming from other areas that are going to be hunted, I realize you have to be conservative and you have to play the middle ground. And you have to satisfy the people who feel strongly that the beautiful animal right there should be protected. I get that. But I believe that what we've kind of got is a tsunami, and we're lucky enough because we have history-based and information and research people that do the work. You can kind of predict the wave is going to hit. And so, at least that's my take on it. So I don't think that 7% is going to be an adequate reduction. I think you're going to find that your 7% reduction could turn into a 170% increase with what's coming from the other states, etc. With, you know what I'm saying, with these extra babies. So, you know, I'm very, very concerned. I've seen a wolf within 200 yards of my house within the last month. And my little boy walks to school every day. Well, not anymore. And it is a very inconvenient thing for me to have to drive into and from, you know, the bus stop. So, and I made the point last week with history's backing me up. If you read about the wolf throughout history, instead of just looking at this silly little isolated view of what we know recently or what we know about the wolf in America,